Halloween. Halloween! It's that time of year again, a time for horror movies, goofy costumes, and sugar. Emphasis on sugar. You know, man, the older I get, the more I start to realize that Halloween is one of the best holidays that we as a society have ever created. What other holiday allows you to go to complete strangers' houses and get snacks without having to pay a single dime? Same with spooky vibes, the costumes, and the weather. And hey, bro, with Halloween right around the corner, I thought, why not make a video talking about it? Now, for starters, let's talk about the costumes. One of the reasons I love Halloween so much is because you can dress up as literally anything you want. It is the one day of the year where it is socially acceptable to dress like an idiot. You can dress up as Spider-Man if you want. You can go as a creepy clown, or you can dress up as a homeless person, provided you're willing to spend the money on Balenciaga. Now, when I say you can go as anything you want, bro, I mean it. I remember this one guy I went to school with showed up on Halloween, dressed up in all brown, and he said he was dressed up as a turd. Like, at that point, what is stopping me from just dressing up in all white and going to my Halloween? I think one of my favorite parts about Halloween is seeing all the different costumes. I remember I would go to school and just looking at all the different things that people were wearing was so cool. As a kid though, it did make me jealous going to school and seeing everybody in their super expensive fancy costumes, and meanwhile, I wasn't wearing anything super amazing. I would go to school and see everybody dressed up as super intricate characters. And you guys are not ready to find out what I was dressed up as. I was dressed up as myself because we were broke as fuck. I am 20 years old, and never in my life have I ever dressed up in a store-bought costume. When I was younger, I always had to make my own costumes. I remember this one year, I literally went to school dressed up in all green and said I was an army man. How does that translate to being an army man? When people in the hallways would ask me, "Bro, what are you dressed up as?" I would then reply with, "Well, I'm an army man, of course." Oh, I couldn't tell. So to make it more obvious that I was an army man, I would go down the hallways screaming, "Hut 2 3 4, hut 2 3 4." Those are one of the few things that I sit in the shower and weep about to this day. I know for a fact that I'm not the only person who wasn't able to afford a good Halloween costume. Even to this day, I'm barely able to afford one. No, scratch that, I can't. Nah, because tell me why the other day I went to Spirit Halloween and the minimum costume price was between the range of $60 and $80. That is such an overly inflated, unbelievable price tag to put on just some cheap spandex. I then went to my local Party City and found a mummy costume that was $90. Why would I spend all that cheese on some rags when I can just easily wrap myself up in toilet paper for completely free? Now, although I never had any store-bought costumes, I did have some pretty cool homemade ones. When I was 6 years old, my mom ended up making me my own Batman costume out of a milk jug and some black duct tape. And that costume was so well made. It was so nice. I can't even lie, to this day, it's still probably my favorite costume I've ever had. In the 9th grade, I made my own Ghostbusters Halloween costume. I even made the little backpack thing too, so that was pretty nice. Next up, we gotta talk about decorations. This is pretty much a completely foreign thing. It's only until recently that we started decorating our house for Halloween, and that's because of me. I'm really the only one who decorates the outside of our house for Halloween, but when I was growing up, nobody would. And it's a little bit weird because all of the houses in my neighborhood tend to decorate Halloween pretty nicely. You would be driving down my street looking at all of the different houses with so many decorations, it might as well be its own attraction. And then you would just pass my house and it would have absolutely no lights, no nothing on it. But hey man, just because my house wasn't decorated, that most certainly didn't stop me from looking at other people's decorations, and that's easily gotta be one of my favorite activities to do during October. I love just walking around my neighborhood and looking at all the different types of decorations. And some people get mad creative with it too. Some guy in my neighborhood used to hide inside of a tree and jump down, scaring people who are trick-or-treating. Just a couple days ago, I was in Los Angeles visiting some of my friends and family, and I was walking around the streets looking at people decorating their houses, and yo, some of these people have gotta be in some type type of Forbes billionaire articles. Some of these decorations have got to cost an insane amount of money, like they deadass got full animatronics in their front lawn. I'm telling you, bro, these people got an insane amount of dedication to make Halloween fun. Now, I know technically it's not a decoration, even though it can be used as one, and most of the time it is. I love carving pumpkins so much. It is one of my favorite things to do during Halloween. Honestly, I preferred it over trick-or-treating. It's pretty fun and a relatively cheap activity to do. I went to Walmart a couple days ago and expected for 2 pumpkins the price to be like $10, $15, but no, I was pleasantly surprised. I spent like $3.50 for 2. Then you can just go to Dollar General or Dollar Tree and buy a pumpkin carving kit, and those are like another $2, but then you're pretty much set. Here's the pumpkins that me and my girlfriend carved yesterday. They're pretty cool. Take a guess which one was mine. I love carving pumpkins, watching a horror movie, and drinking pumpkin spice lattes, which I'm ashamed to say. But overall, I think fall is the only thing that even comes close to beating the Christmas spirit. I think it's mandatory that I have to cover the vibes and the overall feeling of Halloween. You know, man, the older I get, the more I've started to appreciate the months of September and October and fall in general. The atmosphere is so calming with the weather being so flexible. I went for a walk in Central Park a couple weeks ago and started to notice all the leaves changing colors, and for the first time in a while, I wasn't worried or stressed about anything. Despite being super worried about something earlier, I was fine. I've also been to a ton of other states in the East Coast and seeing the reds and the yellows mixed together. Yo, by the way, this is a real question for people who live in California or the Los Angeles area. Do the leaves change color there on your normal trees, or do they just like stay green the whole time? If you're from California or LA, yeah, comment below. I'm curious. How could I possibly mention Halloween without bringing up the best part, trick-or-treating? Excluding Thanksgiving and Christmas, it's probably one of my favorite holidays, even though I don't trick-or-treat anymore. And it's not that I don't want to. I mean, listen, I think it would be a little bit concerning if a 20-year-old dude was standing on your front doorstep asking for free candy. Okay, maybe that's a little bit of a lie. I would much rather sit in my house and just hand out candy without having to go outside. I try my absolute best to not eat out of the candy bowl that's supposed to be given away, but it's so hard. Like, yo, I'm sitting there on the couch wrapped up in a blanket watching some sort of Halloween cartoon special, and I'm doing my best to ignore the big ass bowl of Kit Kats that's right beside me. When I was a kid, I always thought that I would be sad not trick-or-treating anymore, but now that I'm older, I really appreciate it. I would go out with a pillowcase and I would come back with so many candies. It was unbelievable. Sometimes there were also those lame candies though that literally nobody wants to eat. Like sometimes they would give out sugar-free lollipops that they would give away at the dentist. Also, real quick, I want to give a huge shout out to the households that would give out full-size candy bars and canned drinks. You guys are awesome. That's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care of yourself. Have fun. And yeah, have a spooky Halloween. Ooh.